Welcome to the Sheriff's Office. Thank you all for coming. We know this was short notice and we appreciate you being here. And I will now turn it over to Sheriff Withrow.
Hey, good morning, y'all. Thanks for coming at such short notice. I just want to take the opportunity to speak to you and to our public and our community here in San Joaquin County about some emergency changes we've had to make here. We're going through a tough time right now. We're very short-handed on the street, and we're having a difficult time recruiting new folks to come work for us. The reason we're having a difficult time to recruit new people to come work for us is because our Deputy Sheriff's Association and the deputies that work the street and throughout our department have been without a contract for 4.5 years. Now, this is sounds like a tremendous amount of time to be without a contract, but unfortunately it's not an unusual thing. Our correctional officers, before they were imposed upon last time, they went 6 years without a contract. So this is kind of a standard operating procedure that's happened here in San Joaquin County. And now it's impacting us to the point where we can't get people to come and want to work with us or stay at our department. We've taken some drastic changes, we're making some drastic changes here at the Sheriff's Office to make sure that we have enough bodies on the street so that our citizens and our officers are safe. In light of what's happened recently throughout our nation and here locally in California, I have to make sure to do the job that you have hired me to do, and that is to make sure our officers are safe and that you and your families get to go home and live your lives the way you want to. So I've taken some measures to suspend some of the programs that we have going right now that normally really help our community and work closely with our community and help keep them engaged with our department. But due to the necessity of the shortfall on the streets, of only 66 men and women that we have working a 24/7 patrol cycle out on the street right now to get more people out on the street to make sure that they're safe. So what I have done is I have suspended our community car program, which will allow me to bring 8 more officers back out onto the regular patrol, routine patrol, to help handle cases and regular calls for service. I've removed 3 of our officers that were transferred from patrol into the coroner's division, and I'm bringing them back out onto the street to help our officers out on the street. We have a deputy that was assigned to the HSA building, which is downtown. That deputy will be returned to the streets. We have 2 deputies from the courthouse that will be transferred from the courthouse back out onto the streets, and we will backfill the courthouse with per diems, retired officers from a bunch of other departments and our own that come and work for us on a part-time basis, and we'll backfill with them. Some of the other things that we're looking at, I know we just upped the flights that we have at our airport here in Stockton, which is great for our community. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to keep a deputy there or if I'm going to need him back out on the streets to help staff the streets and fill all our beats so that we can answer our calls for service. We have 3 deputies that are assigned to the county hospital right now. Part of their duties are to work with a contract we have with Sacramento County, who brings their deputies, inmates down. The deputies bring their inmates down and get their medical services here at our county hospital. But that's quite a drain on us. We often have to backfill when we get more inmates than deputies that we have to pull people off the street. So we're notifying them today that we're going to be suspending that contract and putting those officers back out on the street that we can, and yet still leave a few there to cover our own inmates that arrive at the hospital there. So these are not things that I take lightly. The community car program is kind of a key program that years ago Baxter Dunn started, and it's an amazing program where we work closely with our community, as I said earlier. I used to be a community car officer when I first started back in the olden days, and so it's a great program. So once we can get our numbers back, if the Board of Supervisors would work with our deputies and get them a contract that is viable for them to be able to accept. Right now, they've, as I said, gone 4.5 years without a contract. Prior to that, the deputies gave up a raise. Back in the days when we had tough times here economically, our deputies, in good faith, along with other associations throughout our department, gave up their raises so that the county could stay fiscally sound. And now, 4.5 years later, they're still without a contract. They've been offered a contract that is a 3-year contract, that at the end of it, it'll be 7.5 years that our deputies have gone without a raise, and it's a net loss to them. And that doesn't even count their medical costs that they're paying for. So we need to make sure we can compete. Our deputies, the 10 that I have lost in the last 6 months since I've been sheriff, 10 of them have left. They just need to go down the street. They go over to Manteca PD and can make up to $2,500 more a month at Manteca PD. I don't blame those officers. You know, they have to do what's best for their families. And our officers aren't asking to be the highest paid in the county. It's the exact opposite. They're just asking for fair pay. They're asking to be treated fairly. And I'm asking the Board of Supervisors to get involved, step up, do what's best for the safety of our community, and give our officers a fair contract so that I can continue to hire people so that we don't eventually drain to where we have nobody left on patrol. So I'm asking the public, please reach out to your supervisor, the area you live in, and contact them and say, hey, give our deputies a fair contract so that the sheriff can hire good quality employees to come out and protect us, and especially in the world that we live in today. As soon as we can get those bodies back up to the level where my officers and our citizens are safe, then we'll be able to reinstitute the community card program and some of the other programs that we've had to suspend at this time. So I take any questions that anybody might have at this time.
Sheriff, where do the negotiations right now stand with the county?
The negotiations right now, they've gone to impasse, I believe it's called, and then they are in arbitration, where the county and the deputy sheriffs have agreed to an arbitrator to come in and sit and listen to both sides, but it does not appear that any movement is being made whatsoever. Yes.
Sheriff, our deputies, our staff is saying, like, look, we can make more money elsewhere. This is one of the major reasons why we're going to go.
Yes, absolutely. I have a list of 26 deputies that are ready to pull the trigger and head to other departments. And we're talking locally here. These guys don't have to sell their houses. They don't have to move. They can walk right next door. But they're telling me, look, we're holding on, Sheriff. We're holding on because we love our department. We love the quality of work that we get to do here and the variety that we get to do here. But eventually, they're going to have to put their families first. And if I lose 26 more guys, I don't know what's going to happen.
Sheriff, who needs to hear this?
The people who need to hear this are the Board of Supervisors. I have met individually with them the last few weeks. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I took the time, made an appointment, sat down across the table one-on-one with each Board of Supervisors and said, hey, look, this is what I'm heading to. I need you guys to step in and get involved. The CAO of our county needs to hear this. I know there's only so much money in the coffers, but our guys did the right thing. They gave up a raise 4.5 years ago to help this county, and now the county has turned its back on it. And this affects the safety of our community. So we need to find money somewhere. And as I said, they're not. They could be greedy and ask for top pay and want to be the top paid county. And let's be honest, they should be. They're the best men and women in this county, and they should be getting that. But that's not what they're asking for. They're asking just give me enough so I can stay here and not lose money. Some deputies, with this contract that's been offered, by the end of it, ones that work a lot of overtime and stuff like that, they could lose like $1,100 a month. Some will lose just a little bit. But after 7.5 years of no raises, cost of living has gone up. They've already signed a side letter that they're paying more for their medical. We got to stop the bleeding sometime.
What's the base pay right now? Sure.
The base pay, a DS1, when they come on, they start off at about $30 an hour. And then obviously the more years you stay, the more it goes up. But that's our problem. We're paying about $310,000, $320,000 to put a guy through the academy, get him trained on the street, and get him ready to ride the car by himself and handle calls for service. Then that guy picks up and goes over someplace else after we've spent the taxpayer dollars to train this person to another department where he gets to start and make more money. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't blame him. But it's not fair, it's not good fiscal management by our board to spend the taxpayer money on that, and that's just one employee. And as I said, since I've been here, we've lost 6. So, I'm sorry, we've lost 10. So, it's really not about pay with these guys though, it's just about, for me, it's about getting enough where I can recruit and retain good men and women on our department.
So you have a 3-year contract right now that's on the table that the county's offering. What is that contract and what do you want in response to that contract?
I'm not in negotiations, so I'm not allowed to see it. They're in, with the arbitrator right now, so I'm not allowed to see that. So I had just heard the rumors like everybody else, and the contract that I've been told is a net loss to our officers. And remember, that's the 3-year contract, but they've already had the 4.5 years of loss.
Are there other points of contention aside from salary and medical benefit costs increasing? Are there other points of contention in these negotiations?
You know, I was on the board years ago, and when we do contract negotiations, there's all kinds of different areas that we look at that involve money. But from what I understand, as far as on the deputy sheriff's side, their request is only like 2%, 2%, 2% over the 3 years in salary. And then they're asking for some type of incentive for longevity to be added to that, which I think is great. It gives the people that we spent that $310,000 or $20,000 of taxpayer money on incentive to stay longer. So percentage raises as the longer you stay, like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, that type of thing. Other than that, they've already agreed to the hit they're going to take on medical. All of us in the community have seen our medical go up. We understand that. That's just the nature of the beast right now. So they've already done a side letter and agreed to that, and we're moving forward. So basically, it's pretty simple right now. Yes.
Sheriff, you said this will affect public safety. For people who are going to be watching this, tell us how this is going to affect the public.
Well, this is going to affect public safety. What I'm doing, and hopefully in a positive way. Right now, as I said, we only have 66 officers on the street. With the move that I'm making right now, I'm going to put an additional 19 out on regular patrol to be handling calls for service and to be there when our community needs us. So that's an extra 19. But you know, we are funded for 129 people on the street, and we are nowhere near that. And but I'm just trying to make sure that we are right at a time now where we're at a skeleton crew. If we drop below this, then we will not be able to handle the calls that as they come in. We would probably have to go to priority dispatch, and I'm not going to let that happen. So I'm going to keep adding guys to the street until we can get to a point where somebody wants to come and work with us.
Sheriff, someone might ask, well, if you have 10 deputies leave, is that correct?
Yes.
So can't you just go ahead and hire new deputies?
Absolutely, and that's what we're doing. We have stepped up, since I came here, we have stepped up our recruitment immensely, trying to go out into the community and attract people to come here. And so we are doing that. We're getting people in the academy, but you have to realize they're leaving as fast as we get them. So we just can't start get ahead on this.
So you can, there's no way you can guarantee that someone that wants to join the sheriff's department might, at the end of the academy, decide, you know what, I'm going to go to Manteca, I'm going to go to Tracy.
Yeah, absolutely. We do not have anything where they sign a contract that says you're committed to 2 or 3 years here or anything like that. We do not have that right now, and so there's no guarantee, and we can put them through our program and away they can go.
Is that something that can be negotiated in a contract with the county?
You know, it's something we can look at. You know, a lot of times when I got hired, I got paid. I got hired and then paid to go through the academy. And then I had a commitment that I needed to stay here a certain number of years to at least earn back the money they spent on me in the academy. So so that's something, you know, we could look at. We could look at a commitment that they have to sign and stay. So I'd be more than happy to talk to the county about that and HR, but those are decisions that HR has to make over there.
Can you explain a little bit more about the Mountain House area specifically, you know, what the suspensions, kind of how many deputies you had there, how much it's gonna be now, and how that might affect response time possibly?
Absolutely. I spoke with the new director there at Mountain House, and that poor guy's been on for 10 days, or 9 days, 10 days today, I guess. And he's walked into this. So we spoke on the phone last night. So we had 7 men and women assigned out in Mountain House. Our contract requires that we have 2 extra people assigned to Mountain House. So I've taken the 5 that are not required by contract, and they'll put them back out on regular streets. Now, the people of Mountain House have to know that that allows me to fill up our current allocations out on the streets. So we have 4 shifts, early day shift, regular day shift, swings and graves, and we have cars out in what we call the 7 area and the 8 area that are out around Mountain House, and they will be responding to call for service also with the deputies that remain in Mountain House. And Mountain House will be the same. As soon as we get our numbers back up, we'll get those folks right back to them. It'll be quite a cost savings for Mountain House, as you can see, but I'm sure it's one that they would be willing to go without as long as they can keep their officers. All right, well, I want to, yeah.
One more question.
Yeah.
So the negotiations, Sheriff, are at an impasse. Any idea when the next date is with the arbitrator?
No, I don't know when they meet again, but I hope with the Board of Supervisors hearing what changes we're having to make now, that they'll get intimately involved in these negotiations and give me the opportunity to hire some officers so that I can reinstate these programs and get us back to full strength. And the only way we're getting in front of the crime that's happening in our community, you know, we see history repeating itself here, really. We saw what happened in Stockton about 5 years ago or so, and clearly we have not learned from that mistake, and we want to make sure that that doesn't happen here. And it's tough to regain ground once you lose it. And the war that our officers are in out on the street right now throughout this county, we've been working closely with Stockton PD, helping them out with all the violence they've been dealing with. And I've reached out to Chief Jones to let him know what's happening and give him a heads up. And he was more than gracious to say, hey, let us know. You were there for us, and we'll be there for you. But I hope that the Board of Supervisors learn from the mistakes of the past over there and don't let us get into that position here. All right, well, thank you all so much for coming. By the way, Supervisor Withrow is here from Stanislaus County, and I'm sure he's here trying to steal my guy, so none of my guys can talk to me. All right, thank you all for coming today. Thank you very much.